The transmission arrived on a Tuesday morning, cutting through every communication channel on Earth simultaneously. Admiral Sarah Chen watched from the bridge of the UES Defiance as the holographic display materialized. A towering, crystalline being with too many joints and eyes that burned like dying stars. Species designated human, the alien spoke, its voice a harmonic frequency that made the bridge crew wince. I am High Arbiter Zexthul of the Dominion Collective. Your kind has been observed, evaluated, found wanting. The creature's form shifted, revealing what appeared to be a massive fleet behind it, ships that dwarfed Earth's largest vessels like whales beside minnows. You are given one rotation of your planet to respond to this ultimatum. Submit to Dominion authority and accept integration into our empire as a servile species, or face extermination. Your primitive technology and savage nature make you unsuitable for equality among civilized races. Choose wisely. The transmission ended. Admiral Chen stared at the empty hologram space for a long moment, then turned to her communications officer. Lieutenant Martinez, patch me through to Earth Command. Priority, Alpha. Within hours, every major world leader had gathered virtually. The debate was brief but heated. Some advocated for negotiation, others for immediate surrender. But when the vote came, it was unanimous. Earth's response would be silence. President Amanda Foster addressed the world that evening. They expect us to beg, she said, her voice steady despite the weight of her words. They expect us to grovel and accept chains. But humanity has never knelt to tyrants, whether they wore crowns or came from the stars. The aliens waited. For exactly 24 hours, as Earth completed its rotation, they received nothing. No desperate pleas for mercy, no offers of negotiation. No surrender, just silence. High Arbiter, Zexthul found this unusual. In 3,000 years of Dominion expansion, no species had ever failed to respond to an ultimatum. Fear, if nothing else, typically compelled some form of communication. Perhaps their technology is more primitive than we estimated, suggested his aide. They may not have received the message. Impossible, Zexthul replied, his crystalline form pulsing with irritation. We monitored their networks. Every device on their planet carried our transmission. Then they are simply too paralyzed by terror to respond. Zexthul nodded slowly. Begin the attack. Target their major population centers. Make it swift. This silence annoys me. The Dominion fleet moved toward Earth like a dark tide, their weapons charging with energy that could crack continents. But as they approached the third planet, something unexpected happened. Space erupted. What the aliens had dismissed as primitive satellites suddenly revealed themselves as disguised weapons. Platforms, kinetic bombardment systems that had been quietly positioned over decades, opened fire, hurling tungsten rods at near-relativistic speeds. Nuclear mines, hidden in the asteroid belt and thought to be mining equipment, detonated in carefully choreographed waves. The moon itself began to split apart, not from alien weapons, but from massive railgun installations built into its dark side, firing projectiles the size of city blocks. "What is this?" Zexthul demanded as his flagship's shields flickered. Under the barrage, their technology readings showed them to be centuries behind us. His tactical officer's voice cracked. "Sir, they're not using advanced technology. They're using rocks and nuclear weapons. And—" An explosion lit up the view screen. "Sir, they've turned their entire solar system into a weapon. But that wasn't the most terrifying part. The most terrifying part was that they still hadn't said a word. As Dominion ships fell to the silent barrage, emergency beacons screamed across their communication networks, calls for reinforcement, demands for strategic withdrawal. The crystalline beings who had conquered 1,000 worlds found themselves outmatched by a species that hadn't even invented faster-than-light travel. Then, finally, humanity spoke. Admiral Chen's voice came through on all frequencies, calm and cold as deep space. High Arbiter Zex Thul, we received your ultimatum. We considered our response very carefully. On screens throughout the surviving Dominion fleet, Admiral Chen appeared, a middle-aged woman with gray-streaked hair and eyes like winter storms. Behind her, Earth hung in space, scarred but defiant. You offered us two choices, she continued, slavery or death. You assumed those were the only possibilities because that's how your people think. But humans? We've always been very good at finding third options. Another wave of kinetic projectiles tore through the alien formation. The Dominion fleet was in full retreat now, their casualties mounting with each passing second. You called us primitive, Chen said, her voice never rising above conversational level. You called us savage. Perhaps you're right. After all, what kind of species turns asteroids into bullets? What kind of civilization builds weapons into their moon? The answer hung in the space between worlds, written in fire and debris. We didn't choose slavery, Admiral Chen concluded as the last Dominion ship fled toward the edge of the solar system. We didn't choose death. We chose to teach you why humans don't kneel to anyone. The transmission ended, leaving only silence. In die. The aftermath, as rescue ships searched for survivors and Earth began to count its costs, High Arbiter Zex Thul's damaged flagship limped back to Dominion space. His report to the High Council was brief. Species designated human has been reclassified. Recommendation: avoid at all costs. They are not primitive. They are not savage. They are something far worse. They are creative. And they do not forgive. The Dominion never sent another ultimatum to humanity. They didn't dare.